There's a lot of people right now saying that Justin Gaethje deserves the next title shot after the Dustin Charles fight. I have a slightly different opinion. Justin Gaethje is right now the number 2 contender, right below Dustin. That narrative of Justin Gaethje being the next one up to get a title shot, it's too simplistic. It's too basic. You could see that storyline coming a mile away. Imagine how boring some of the most thrilling movies in history would be if you could see the twist coming. If you see the twist coming, it's not a compelling storyline. It's not a compelling story arc. It's a boring movie. Yes, Justin Gaethje is the number 2 contender, but him getting the title shot is just a little bit too expected. In order to come up with a compelling twist and a good storyline that keeps the audience on the edge of their seats, a good story needs a twist that the audience doesn't see coming. Only people that knew the twist was coming were the people who worked on the movie. That's reason number 1 why Justin Gaethje, in my opinion, doesn't deserve the next title. I love Justin Gaethje, one of the most exciting, electrifying fighters mixed martial arts has ever seen. The guy is a beast. He's right there in terms of skill. I would put him right next to Dustin Poirier in terms of skill. That's my top 2 in terms of exciting, lightweight fighters to watch. But giving him the next title shot, does it create the most excitement? Doesn't make sense from a business standpoint. If you look at it from the UFC's perspective, everybody sees it coming. You don't even need to announce the fight if you're going to give it to Justin Gaethje, because everybody already expects it. So that's reason number 1. I wouldn't give it to Justin Gaethje because it's too expected. It's lazy narrative creating. It's lazy narrative shaping. It's not a compelling twist. That's reason number 1. Number 2, Justin Gaethje already got a title shot. He's been there, done it. You know, it's like what Eminem says in his 8 Mile song. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance. You get one shot. Eminem said this 15 years ago in the 8 Mile song. It was true back then. It's true now. Sometimes that's how life works. You get one shot, one opportunity. You miss it. That's it. Train's gone. You missed the train. He just fought Michael Chandler, and the fight right before Michael Chandler was for the title shot where he lost to Khabib. Reason number 3 is you've been inactive. The time between him losing to Khabib and fighting Michael Chandler, there's a year in between. There's other lightweight fighters who've been active. If you're active, you're hustling for UFC. You're making the UFC money. Those fighters should get more priority than a fighter who took time off. I'm not saying Justin Gaethje didn't deserve the time off. He deserved the time off. But something's got to give. If you get the benefits of time off, it doesn't come free. Nothing's free. There's a price to pay for buying time off. And that price has to be that Justin Gaethje cannot get the next title shot. Literally, he's one fight removed from the title shot. It doesn't make sense. It's not a compelling narrative. It's not a compelling storyline arc to give Justin Gaethje the next title shot. Rankings and numbers don't move pay-per-view buys. What moves pay-per-view buys is excitement, passion. It comes from the hearts of MMA fans. If I'm running UFC, and if I'm helping Dana White run UFC, I would advise Dana White, whatever you do, don't give Justin Gaethje the next title shot. It's going to be boring. Everybody sees it coming. Ranking the numbers, that doesn't sell pay-per-views. That doesn't sell seats in arenas, even though the UFC doesn't really need help selling seats. They sell out most of the time anyway. So that's reason number 3. Now, here's who actually deserves the title shot. There's a guy out there. By the way, I wanted to throw out another analogy for Justin Gaethje getting yet another title shot. So Justin Gaethje versus Khabib, one of the best MMA fights ever I've seen. But it's like, you know, when you just turned 16 and you get your first job and you get a little bit of money in your pocket and you go a little crazy, you go to the park, you buy 2 ice cream cones at once. Well, the first one tastes great. The first ice cream cone tastes great. On a hot summer day at the park, first ice cream cone tastes great. You bought it with your own money, fantastic. You're working for your first job of your life. That second back-to-back ice cream cone, that doesn't taste as good. Don't get me wrong, ice cream's ice cream. It tastes great, especially on a hot summer's day at the park. It tastes great. It doesn't taste as good as the first ice cream cone. Think back to your favorite movie. You watch your favorite movie for the first time and you're blown away by it. You love it. You instantly have a connection to it. And you've seen it since then. You've seen it second, third, fourth, fifth times. Now imagine you watched the second time. You watched it a second time right after you finished watching it the first time. So you watch it twice back to back. If it's something great like Star Wars, you're probably going to love it too. If you watch it back to back twice, you're going to love it for sure. But the second time watching it, it's not going to be as good as the first time. So that's another reason why Justin Gaethje's second title shot isn't as compelling as the fighter that I'm about to tell you. Staying on the topic of movies, if you remember the first Terminator was a compelling storyline because the villain, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, was set up to be this invincible villain. He's a machine, can't be beaten. He's fighting humans. Humans can't be beaten. So you're on the edge of your seat the whole time because you're trying to figure out how the humans are going to defeat Arnold Schwarzenegger, a machine in the first Terminator. Staying on that thread, there is a lightweight fighter right now where the entire MMA community is just waiting to see if he can be solved. A lot of people call him the successor to Khabib. Even though I think the true successor to Khabib is Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's the real successor to Khabib because their personality, they have the fire in their bellies. I think Khamzat is a little bit more aggressive, but that's for another video. This lightweight fighter, we all tune in to watch him. Even though he's boring like Mayweather, we all turned in to watch Floyd Mayweather Jr. put up boring fights after boring fights. Why? Because we were waiting to see who could solve the riddle. Who could beat the unbeatable Floyd? It never happened, but that's life sometimes. Now there is this lightweight fighter. Everybody wants to see if he can be solved. He's like a riddle. He's like a Rubik's Cube that nobody's been able to solve yet. There's one guy, Adriano Martins, who got a lucky shot, popped him right flush in the face, knocked him out. It's seen as a fluky knockout. The guy caught a bad punch. That could happen to anyone. Adriano Martins caught him flush with a fluky punch. That's not solving the riddle. That's called being lucky. You win at the casino once. That's not called solving the game. You just got lucky. The house always wins. Of course, by now you've guessed that this lightweight fighter is Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is the one who actually deserves a shot at the lightweight championship after Dustin Poirier. Why? Well, first and foremost, it's because even though he's boring like Floyd Mayweather, people are going to tune in because they want to see this guy lose. They want to see if Charles Oliveira or Dustin Poirier, whoever becomes champion, go watch that video after this one. I predicted who's going to win in that one. They want to see if Dustin or Charles can solve this guy's riddle. He's seen as an invincible, unsolvable in wrestling, grappling. He's taken something like 70 significant strikes in his entire UFC career. That's less than what most people take in one fight, especially less than what Max Holloway takes in one fight. They want to see if the 9-win fight streak that Makhachev is on can be broken or not. That's what they're going to tune in for. It's the compelling narrative. People want to see how a human, a mere mortal like Charles or Dustin can beat the Terminator. How are they going to beat the Terminator? Can they beat the Terminator? They're going to be on the edge of their seats the entire time. If I'm helping Dana White run UFC, I would give the next title shot to Islam Makhachev.